Okay, hello everyone. It's been a while since I've decided to record a game and talk at the same time. This is something I saw on Steam for about $2, so I figured why not. It's called Second Thoughts, and the premise of it seems to be kind of like the Saw series, where it's just kind of people put into a situation and they're dying off one by one in a way. I don't think there's traps like Saw, but it's again people in a situation and they're dying off. And it looked like a very simple text-based game. It seemed interesting to me and I'm very curious, so let's see how this goes. Welcome. And so basically, so you will be required to evaluate data on 8 different subjects. Each day you will select one of these subjects to be executed using the data provided to make your decision. For each time an execution is performed, you will be provided additional information about every subject, including those you have already killed. So in a way, if you've ever played that game, Death and Taxes, I guess. If you so wish, you can read this new information despite the subject being already dead, or you can pretend it does not exist and focus on those who are still alive. At the end of the experiment, the surviving subject will be allowed to go free. It is said that knowledge is power. And that's half the battle. We will find out if this statement is true. Hello, Gordon. I want to play a game. Day 1. So, as far as I can tell, since this was only $2, this should be a very, very short game, I'm sure. Observation. Alright, so we've got the 8 people here. I guess that's all I can see. Okay. Alright, so it looks like they're all in their own room. Eric Robin, who are you? Eric Robin, male, 21, French, 6'2", 151 pounds, born December 9th, blood type O+, technician, crimes of assault, auto theft, manslaughter, and shoplifting. Sarah Barros, female, 26, Greek, 5'5", 216 pounds, June 29th, A positive blood, accountant, crimes of fraud, money laundering, and tax evasion. So do all of them have some kind of crime? Mia Edwardson, arson, burglary, insurance fraud. So I guess it's like one of those psychological games, I guess. Drug manufacturing and drug possession. Assault, imprisonment, kidnapping. Driving under the influence. Attempted murder and first-degree murder. And domestic abuse, public intoxication, shoplifting. So, do I want to do this simply and think of like, oh well, let's just whittle it down to whoever's the best, or do I want to like change it up a bit? I know. Because I mean, what person am I playing as? Am I someone who was? Oh wait, it says, oh, there's more pages. Ah. Okay. So we've got the first page for them so far. But what about my person? What am I doing here? So was I kidnapped and forced to do this? Am I the person who set this all up? Let's try to make the worst decision possible right away. Let me see. Who has the most potential ahead of them still? 26, 21, 26, 40, 22. Well, although this person's both 22 and did drug manufacturing and drug possession. But what kind of drugs? 55. Let him out, he'll be dead soon anyways, right? Well, I mean, he could still live for like another 30 years for all we know. This person's 18. So let's see. Let's go with River. I mean, I guess you could also just choose who you want to live right away and then just never look at anything else. You know, maybe this is just like my day job. Maybe there's other rooms full of people. It reminds me kind of like the game, or not the game, the movie Circle, where there's like aliens and they abducted a whole bunch of people, and so there was like all these different rooms, but it focuses on one, and it's like 50 people, and they have to decide who will be the last person left alive. And because after like a certain time limit, it just kills someone at random, or they have to vote to choose who gets killed off. Eva, somewhat of a mystery as her past is mostly unknown in terms of legal documents. She's moved several times over the course of the last decade and never stays in one location for more than a few months. You know what? Just because Ava sounds like one of the worst people, she's got her whole life ahead of her still, is wanted for attempted murder and first-degree murder. So what happens if she's the last one left? So Ava Smith. So if we just ignore everything, how does this game end? We just ignore everything, choose one person, and completely ignore the information, completely ignore everything else, forget morals, forget thinking, just choose someone that you see as the worst possible choice with the information you have immediately, and go from there. So is that like it sounds like it's just a vacuum cleaner. Yeah, at first I was thinking like it sounded like maybe like a table saw or something, but now it just kind of sounds like a vacuum cleaner. Or like one of those wheel around shop vacs, like the wet and dry vacs. assuming since this is just a $2 game, like if I finish the game and then start over, it's not going to be like a randomly generated new group of people. It'll just be the same people, but it'll be, you know, just like a different ending per person, maybe? Or maybe it's the same ending for every person. Like it just says, did you make the right choice? Did you think about your choices, etc., etc.? Do you think this makes you a good person? Do you think this makes you a bad person? It's either one of those games made where it's trying to make you think about the choices you made, morals, just one of those games trying to make you think, like, is this what humanity is? Or it's just a game made because the idea was there and they put effort behind it. And so they're like, yeah, it's just this, I did a thing, I was testing something out. I definitely like the premise of it. If it was even more involved, I'd probably like it a lot more. Of course, I'm still just starting. I haven't played the game. I'm literally just hitting kill, next day, kill, next day, kill, next day. I would not say that I'm playing the game yet. But I definitely like the idea of it. I like the way it is. It's very simple. It's got the CRT screen, horizontal lines across it. The mouse is up in the corner. Alright, day 7, last day. Yeah, a week full of tough decisions, but... Well, really, we only made one decision. Who was gonna live? And we purposely tried to go for as wrong a decision as we believed. This is a person who is constantly moving, leading me... Well... I guess I went one step too far and read one extra page on one person. Whereas ideally I would have went completely blind, known absolutely nothing, chosen a name at random, and just gone from there. Yes, that is exactly what I did. Yep, there it is. Exactly what I thought. Do you feel you made the right choice? Oh, okay. Hey. Oh, okay, so it's already more than we thought. I expected just those 8. I have to go back. Do it all again. Alright, so this time we've actually... Okay. What's our observation now? Now I'm more interested. What do we got? Alright, same kind of room. Same kind of grids. Got the 8 people walking around in their rooms. Okay. Got an unknown name? Is that me? Oh no, it's oh god, she's 12. Or he's 12. Okay, now I'm more interested right now. 88. Identity theft at 88? Well, I guess that's a crime that they did. I don't know if that's recent. No crimes. Oh, they're both Dutch. Oh, related. Second-degree murder. Should we keep these two alive just because? Well, one of them's got to die eventually, though. Only one of them can live. Stalking and vandalism. Okay, so since only one of them can die, we have to choose which one we want out of here first. So that'll be the easy choice. So just between these two. So stalking, we'll start with the crimes. We got stalking and vandalism, and none. So I guess the nurse who isn't guilty of anything, and so Sky, you're the first one gone. I'm sorry. The votes have been cast. Please grab your torch and leave the island. So see, already I'm getting more than I expected for $2. So if this looks like something that might interest you, go ahead, go buy it. It's called Second Thoughts. And then you can do your choices, then come back and see how badly I screwed up. Alright, day 9. Alright, so what do we got now? Had a fairly quiet life growing up as she lived with her father and 2 siblings in a very small town, but had a great liking towards technology and computers and spent a lot of time around them. Linda wanted to go into the sex industry after turning 21 and pursued that career choice until she owned her own business and managed several people under the model of keeping sex workers safe and harm-free. An unliked prison officer who is known to not treat the inmates with the best care, but there is a small group of the inmates that seem to always have his back and won't let anything bad happen to him. I don't know if this is Agnes or Agnes, like that one, Bravely Default. I'll just say Agnes. Agnes lives in a big city and is a well-loved nurse who is known to take care of her patients no matter what. She is sometimes known to go too far and make her bosses mad by giving unnecessary help. So far, we have Agnes as the strongest contender for who gets to live. Because see, now I've got the movie The Circle stuck in my head, and it's just kind of making me think that same situation where it's whoever's left. Like, basically, it's not just, like, 2 groups of people and that's all that was captured. It's like the entire population was captured, and who's ever left is the people who have to continue trying to restructure the world or whichever. Bryn lived a lot of their life unhappy and having to keep their true self a secret due to fear of being hurt by their family. At 35 years of age, they came to terms with who they truly were and could start living their life. And they're 88 now, though. So see, now in my mind, I just have the idea that it's basically everyone in the entire Earth has been captured, and it's not just me at this one computer doing this. It's groups of people doing this everywhere. Yasin has always been a troublemaker in his school and is a well-known bully to multiple students online and offline. His parents take little notice towards what he does and choose to ignore it. X used to live a life of crime but has since moved on from it and wants to leave it all behind. He did all that he could to ensure that no one would know his true identity, as doing so would ruin his new life. So let's see, Ronnie was the police guy. And it's again not so much just trying to figure out who to kill right now, but who should live at the end. Well, who's the one who's 88? Because if it... Alright. So, sorry, Bryn, but I feel like you've lived the full life, and you're not the one I want to carry over to the last day. Alright, what's the next bit of information? When she turned 19, moved out of her family home and mostly lost contact with her father, but tried to stay in contact with her siblings until she was 24, when a falling out unrelated to her crimes took place. She has a very good relationship with her family, and they are supportive of her decision, except for her aunt, who insists that what she is doing is against decency and not what someone should be doing. He was raised by his older cousins and very spoiled in his childhood. Ronnie wanted to make a name for himself, and while living with his cousins to this day, he insists that he is not the spoiled brat that he once was. She grew up with her twin sibling Sky, who is a very well-known architect in the same city. The siblings have a very close relationship, meeting up regularly for lunch together and hanging out on weekends to discuss their lives. And so do I want to send her out into a world where her twin is gone? His parents are very wealthy, but still make time for their son. They went on multiple trips a year and let their son stay home whenever he so wishes. It is also reported that Yasin had a sister. Almost missed X. He currently has no family, as leaving them behind was a big step of distancing himself from his past life. X felt bad about doing so, but knew that for his own sake, he needed to be away from anything that connected him. So, I'm going to decide not to have the twin live without their other half. so far for this group, I'd say right now either X or the girl have the interest in technology are probably the strongest contenders. But we'll see what the new information brings. Her money situation is quite dire, which was what allowed her to get the job at a telemarketing scam business. She, however, has said that she feels awful for any harm she may have caused. Okay. And is fairly wealthy and made sure all of her employees are well paid and accounted for. If any of them come to her in need of more money, she is known to very likely help them out and provide it. You're also a good person, helping people. As a prison officer, his pay is decent, but he did seem to have more money than he should have, which is what led to an investigation being performed to see where the extra money had been coming from. Parents are very rich, and as such, Yasin has as much money as he wants. He often likes to show off his wealth to his peers and those online with an online blog talking about how great his life is. And the money that X has saved in his bank is enough to live a decent life for quite some time. Without the need of any sort of support or job, all of his money came from his previous life. I think right now, Finn, you have been voted off the island. So for this next one, I don't know who is still going to go to the end yet. Ronnie, let's see what your next one says. One of his duties at the prison is handling money, and from that money he was constantly changing numbers to make it look like everything was in order, when in fact it was being sent to his bank account. One of her employees was being harassed, a lot by one customer, and she stepped in. However, after the employee came in crying for unknown reasons, she found and killed the man who had been harassing her. So right now I think it's between Marissa and X. Marissa scammed upwards of 100 people for a total of $450,000 from people aged 65 and up. She, however, receives very little of that amount, as most of it goes to her higher-ups in the scam. You know, like those damn scam call centers. And X. The X that XX around his XX caused many issues for the residents XX. He made an XXXX with his X and XX when all when they XXXXX. 13. Got 2 more days. But why should I choose? I've got a dice here. I'll roll, and what I get is who survives. Marissa's good, and Linda's good. So X is gone for today. Because at this point, I figure I've gotten rid of the people who I didn't want to get to the end. And so now we're at the point where it doesn't matter who gets to the end. So, we've got another dice roll. Marissa, know that I cannot say the true reasons behind what I have been doing, but any pain and suffering I have caused will be held close to my heart for the rest of my life and beyond. Off the record, Marissa is a deep undercover agent for an anti-scam organization. She had no choice but to actually take money from people in order to get closer to the heads of the scam to bring them down from the inside. And Marissa, you are the one who survived the dice roll. So Linda, Amalia, you are gone. You do not get out. Well done on making it this far. There's now one more choice you must make. Is it between the two that I've already got let live? Yep. Final day. Well, listen. Since we're this far, what does your stuff say? Alright, so we only know the first bit, which is that you were moving around from place to place. Her original family is unknown. She was put into foster care as a baby, but was adopted during her childhood. Her foster parents are also unknown in terms of legal documents. You've switched accounts several times along with paying for most things with cash, so her real financial situation remains largely a mystery, but it is estimated that she is lower class. The murder itself was of her foster father's sister, with the intended murder being on her foster father. Due to her refusal to answer most questions, the exact reasoning for these crimes remains unknown. Yeah, I did it. I killed her and tried to kill him. To be honest, I would try to kill him again if I got the chance. You have no idea the hell he put me through, and to be honest, I don't think you care. Off the record, After being adopted, her legal name was Eva Lawyers. She was kept prisoner in her home for many years, and the one attempt to get help was met with her foster dad's sister covering up her existence. And there it is. Because not everything is as it seems right away. Do I let the person who was a victim finally get freedom? Or let Marissa, who survived the rolls of the dice? Well, let's leave it up to the dice again. Seems fair. And again, the dice chooses that Marissa survives. Congratulations on completing the experiment. The one you have chosen has been set free. Do you think if you had all the data at the start, would the order you approach this change? In life, we are often not given the whole story. Take a moment to consider your choices. The next time you feel the need to execute someone, no matter what form that might take, knowledge is power, and knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe! It's an interesting game. It's definitely not bad for $2. A little preachy, but that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, short, fun game. Make choices, learn about AI peoples. It's a game. Not too much to say. No music, the sound of a computer running is slightly unnerving. Like it feels like there's a horror game I can't remember where you're sitting at a computer playing a text-based horror game, and then as you're playing it, like it turns out that the game you're playing is what's happening around you, and that's kind of just what that was reminding me of. I'm glad it didn't turn out to be a horror game. It was just a fun little text-based CRT screen. And so yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it. Maybe you'll buy it yourself. And so for whatever time you're watching this, morning, evening, night, afternoon. You have a good one.